Hey, what is going on, Guardians? Evade here and welcome back to the channel. Today's video may be a little bit different as I want to discuss more about what happened yesterday with Bungie's departure from Activision. So we're going to discuss what this means, what may change in the future, if features like crossplay and cross-save could become a thing, and are exclusives heading out the door. So hope you're strapped in for the ride. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and let's jump right into it. So in case you aren't aware, and I guess haven't been around in the last day, Bungie and Activision are going to be splitting up seamlessly and going their separate ways. Now in terms of the history of these two companies, Activision was brought on board about 8 years ago to kickstart the Destiny franchise, and that's exactly what they did. They invested huge into Bungie and this game, and the work they put into it will definitely not go unnoticed for sure. Now there is no doubt that Activision did have a huge impact on the game's kickstart and content plan over the years, whether that's for good or bad. Now of course I don't know all the specifics, as do you, but we're going to pull out what we can from this and discuss Destiny 2 content moving forward, and even Destiny 3, or you know what I mean, the next big installment, whatever it may be. Now believe it or not, Bungie has actually been through this type of thing before. Microsoft and Xbox own the Halo IP, which Bungie simply developed. So after making Halo 1, 2, 3 ODST and then Reach in 2010, they decided they wanted to move on to new projects, so they broke free from Microsoft and signed with Activision and Sony for what would turn out to be Destiny.
We've gone from continuing to make Halo games to doing something which certainly draws on our past experiences and plays to our strengths, but it's new and exciting. It's going to take on a life of its own.
We didn't even know how big Halo was going to get. How can anything be bigger than Halo? We'll find out.
The original contract stated that there would be 4 Destiny games with common expansions in between in the following years, sort of like The Taken King. The initial release plan was fall of 2013, 15, 17, and 19, but as we know, Destiny 1 was delayed back in 2013. After some of the devs showed the higher-ups at Bungie what they had, they're like, nah, we gotta fix this up and change things around a bit. So what we got in 2014 was basically the 2013 version, but just cut apart and stitched together with different missions, and the story itself was totally reworked. As the game grew and evolved, got way better, had some downfalls, this original DLC model that Activision, I'm assuming, had planned was not working. This of course was the usual major expansion, and then having those 2 throughout the year like Dark Below, and then House of Wolves, or Curse of Osiris and Warmind. It seemed that Bungie couldn't really keep up with releasing all this content, and that resulted in the dry periods of nothing like we had in between Rise of Iron and Destiny 2. Now for some reason when Destiny 2 released, they had the same plan, Curse of Osiris and Warmind, but there was a difference this time. They had 2 different studios helping them out, that being High Moon Studios and Vicarious Visions, which are in fact subsidiary studios of Activision themselves, so Activision owns them. So as I stated in yesterday's video, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Vicarious Visions and High Moon. They are Activision related, so they may not have anything to do with Destiny anymore. But content isn't exactly as it was like a year ago when they were developing this stuff, right? We don't have the 2 expansions anymore. We have an annual pass with content releasing throughout the year. So Bungie did say yesterday as well that content moving forward will remain the same as we see here on the annual pass, and even beyond that, they're excited to share what's next. We'll be heading to new worlds with new adventures, and that's definitely going to be super exciting. But what does this all mean for certain features of the game and development? Let's talk about console exclusives first. So ever since Destiny became a thing, Bungie was partnered with Sony to release certain exclusive first on PlayStation consoles, and other platforms would not receive these for a whole year and sometimes even longer. Now in my opinion, console exclusives are dumb. The whole point of this was for Sony, to get more people on board with Destiny on their platform, and that would just be another way for them to earn some more money. Say, hey, if you develop a couple of extra stuff for our platform, the players will come with us, we'll get more money, and those players will be happy because they'll get those exclusives. So console exclusives for games in general is just, not the best, but in Destiny's case, it sort of just blew it out of the water. This wasn't just like a COD expansion where you wait a month or a couple of weeks to get the new content, it was an entire year. You couldn't play new strikes, new maps, or get the new weapons and armor for a year. As development continued, Destiny 2 became a thing, and this was also going to release on PC as well, making that 3 major platforms in total. But guess what? Sony still had that deal, meaning not just Xbox would be left out, but PC players as well. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe that Sony deal may have been tied in with Activision and that contract they made around 8 years ago. Now trust me, I tried looking through the whole contract, I probably missed it, but that thing is pages and pages long, so if you guys know something I don't, tell me down below. But if this is true, this could mean that PlayStation exclusives won't be a thing anymore unless Bungie, made another deal or kept the one they had with Sony. PlayStation did tweet this though: "Onward to new worlds and new adventures. We'll see you Starside." Now this could just be a response to the article meaning, hey, good luck Bungie, excited to see what's happening in the future, or it could mean, good luck Bungie, we're done with you as well. Again, no confirmation, but this is huge for not just exclusives going away, but think even bigger than that. With the freedom to publish the games on their own and no tie to favor a specific platform, this opens up so many possibilities like cross-save and even cross-play, for example. Crossplay is exactly what it sounds like, when you can play a game with players on other platforms like Fortnite for example. So Fortnite was huge anyway, but cross-platform makes it even bigger for this reason. 1, it's free, and 2, it reaches to more people and they can connect and play games regardless of what console or PC they're playing on. It essentially unites the whole community if you get what I'm saying. Now if Destiny had something like this with crossplay, that would be pretty insane. There of course would be tons of hoops to jump through and I'm not sure how exactly that would work. Things like PC and consoles have completely different sandboxes when it comes to PvP and also controls. So it would be totally unfair to play a PC player in the Crucible as they have keyboard and mouse, but what about something like PvE? Now I'm not going to explain how all that could work, but you get the point. Without having a deal with Sony, Bungie could have an option of crossplay once and for all, and if not something that ambitious, what about something like cross-saving? I was just thinking about something like this the other day. I main my Hunter and play most of my time in Destiny 2 on Xbox One, but I do have Destiny 2 on PC and PS4 as well. It just seems like there's no point in spending so much time grinding on my PC if my Xbox character is 650 and has all of this progress already completed. If cross-saving was there, I could just hop on PC, pick up where I left off on Xbox, and things wouldn't change at all. Now I'm sure if something like that would become a thing, I'm sure you'd have to pay for the game again, which would totally make sense, but at that point I think it would be totally worth it just having all that progress saved on your Bungie account. Another issue we've seen in the past was the whole microtransaction garbage. Sure, from a developer and publisher standpoint it makes sense because it's another way to earn money and fuel the development of your game. I mean, we can take a look at Fortnite as another example again. The game itself is free, but they make billions just off of cosmetics and that battle pass. But when these microtransactions begin to ruin the game, that's a huge problem for everybody. Star Wars Battlefront 2, I'm looking at you. Locking items behind Eververse was a thing. The items were not guaranteed from the start, and they still aren't, but there's that knockout list, and things were getting super heated about just over a year ago. The reason Eververse was implemented in the first place was because Activision expected Destiny to earn more money. Instead of earning money from the full release of the tiny expansions like Dark Below and House of Wolves, they would use Eververse to make the revenue they needed in between while they developed the bigger expansions like Rise of Iron. So with Activision leaving, does this mean Eververse will disappear? Probably not. But it may allow Bungie to do their own thing and sort of tone it down a bit when it comes to pushing for revenue over content quality and what the majority of the community actually wants. But Guardians, how do you feel about all of this information? Having Activision on board did have its negatives, but it would be completely wrong to say they didn't help with some of the game's success. While the future does look promising with some of the possible things we discussed in this video, how do you think things are going to turn out? And if you are new here and don't really play Destiny, will you make your way back in the future? Anyway, Guardians, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more videos just like this one, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. My name's Evade, and I'll catch you Guardians in the next one.